Hello again, everyone. Verrill here with Flow Roofing out of Portland, Oregon for the second coffee Sunday of the year, and it happens to be February 2nd. That being said, welcome, and we're going to do more of a broad stroke overview of the world today and how it affects all of us here at Flow. It might infect your own business, might affect your clientele, your prospective customers, whoever you are watching this. Um, that being said, appreciate any time and attention or any shared ideas, any opposing ideas. I'm not here to rub anyone the wrong way. I just want to make sure that I have kind of my own ideas downloaded and linear thought process is straightened out to make sure that I can try to decipher what's going on in the world here today. Um, planes are falling from the sky, and administrations are creating enemies out of neighbors. It seems like the consumer sentiment may be a little less enthusiastic, and we're not necessarily seeing that here at Flow. We still have quite a few customer requests, more than we did last year still. And we want to keep it like that, but would like to see what other business owners might be going through. And maybe you guys have similar concerns about the future, but ultimately, who am I? I had to take the belt off a couple years ago and literally create the systems and processes to onboard the talent, the team that had a shared vision on the importance of why the best roofs are built from the inside out. And so we're not just a top down asset protection company. Here at Flow, we're making sure that we're doing things right by the book. And with that, the only way to truly flow, which means our growth is going to be the priority. Back in the day, we wanted to make sure that we could have the systems and processes to make sure that we can have consistent results. And what that means is we're taking a lot of what our mentors had to say. Alex Hermosi, a lot of Tim Ferriss's guests, even some of Joe's, um, taking to heart a lot of what Jocko Willink has to say in his books as well, and to really prioritize and execute. And I think any of those people might tell you that it's best to listen around the current environment, the current climate, so that you can have twice the information. And hopefully, I can shed some light on any other small business that might have some concerns about the future. But from our perspective, be able to share a little more about what we have planned, what we're preparing for, the offensive and defensive plays necessary to thrive in any market, any administration. So, by the way, I've never voted. I don't plan on voting. The system's a little broken for me to buy in, so to speak. And so I've always just put my head down and created, grinded, tried to add value to those around me, sacrificed a lot to be able to sit here today, share some time with you guys. And y'all might say, oh, he's un-American, just, like any administration, someone would argue, has affected what we've done, but I would argue has not affected my life in one way or another besides your petty cost of goods sold. That being said, I believe my quality of life has improved quite a bit because I'm not paying attention to all the noise nearly as much. And now the noise has begun to become so loud, though, that it is necessary to at least acknowledge and move appropriately. So, just my limited attention in everything. It seems like, not having Canada on your side, could be, especially with lumber, building supplies, maybe that's not the best move, right? Um, Mexico, incredible people, like in general. Our crews are coming not directly, but maybe a generation or two removed from that country, are the hardest working people in the world. Okay. And to slap them with something that doesn't necessarily have proper justification. And then this is where you guys are, feel free to argue, feel free to send different opinions. It just seems a little bullyish, you know? And so if we are to be a nation of leaders and to lead the world, both in policy, economics, morality, it seems like you might want to have stronger relationships, especially with your neighbors, than to be a little abrasive, right? And to shut down the people that you do business with. Okay. So, multifamily person, commercial client comes in the door, calls Flo. We're not saying, hey, what can you do for us? You know, back when I was selling pizza, I'm not having someone come up to the truck and saying, you know, besides like, who's your favorite pie in town? You know, they'd be like Ken's or a Pizza Shoals. Now mine is Pizza Thief up in Northwest. But you're not comparison, right? Comparison is a thief of joy. So you're trying to add value to people's lives. Yeah, in food, you're trying to bring nutrients and just provide sustainability. In construction, a commodity-based business, the value that you have to bring to the table is not necessarily just a number, but what you can do to provide continued protection, warranty, and roofing specifically. Your warranty is everything, but the best warranties you don't need. One you don't need, right? So, I wonder who's sitting there on the other side of the screen. These other business owners, you guys probably on all sorts of different niches, and that being said, my biggest concern is material pricing. And so we're already experiencing a 10%, the first double digit in over a year price increase, single occurrence price increase in over a year. I imagine at the very least another double digit in August. So we're sitting here February 2nd, 2025. In less than 2 months, and that could actually change. I'd be actually very interested to find whether or not these manufacturers think they can try to bump their price increases even more. Okay, so what does that mean right now? Your standard 2025 square material package can be somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 here in the Northwest, at least. That could easily go 6, 8, 10 in the next 2 years. And homeowners can't necessarily justify those purchases. They're going to have to rely more and more on financing. And so we're making moves appropriately. We've got a good offensive plan. We've got a good defensive plan. In terms of 2025, we're capping our residential to make sure that we can focus on the dream client experience, as well as serving all of our commercial clients to the highest. And with that, we don't have any control over the material pricing other than buying specialty accessories in bulk that allows us to at least somehow help pay for the massive overhead, at least associated with flow. And so coming from pizza, selling $5 slices now to $5 to $50 plus thousand, $500,000 systems, it seems like there's no decrease and no going back to the good old days. So how do we move appropriately? how do we make the best decisions possible? Flow for 2025, we're planning on going brick and mortar, being at the front facing side of the client's experience. And then we're actually going to be production from admin in the field. So that way we can have some real live fire practice for the 2026 game plan, which we'll share in another video at some point later this year. But I might have even hinted it in the last video. But that being said, I'm how am I going to get more wave time to properly flow, and how am I going to provide for the families that we protect both in and outside of flow? It's the decision making that is so critical, right? So to see through the fog and to get a bird's eye view of the landscape in today's messy and noisy climate, means that you got to do your research, right? And so you got to make sure you're focusing on quality. You got to be sure your communication's on point. If your systems and processes are lacking, the market will tell you, right? And so I wonder, I feel like we've got it pretty good here at Flow, but at the same time, there's these concerns specifically with what tariffs could do and impact a family-run operation, right? So we do have some pretty strong tailwinds in the way that we can negotiate some pricing with our suppliers that allow us to give favorable terms down the chain to our clients, but at the same time, to grow sustainably and not let the wheels fall off, to focus on quality in a way that I believe is the priority and what any client would be expecting to pay for, means that we're going to have to make sure that everyone on board this ship is shaped up. Okay, so if I was back in food, I would be maybe looking to buy direct on our flour, right? I would be trying to bulk order my salts, sugars, and maybe even, what if it's an extreme example, but you could go and buy property with a spring, have spring fed water. No, there's no way you get a commercial kitchen registered in Oregon. I mean, that would be a dream, right? You're literally, your dough is spring fed water source. You're not using that much water, but if I can imagine like Ken's Artisan, or something like that, having a spring fed water source for the dough, what that could do. They say New York Pizza had a couple weeks back on the way from Africa, and it was all right. Okay, I still think Pizza Thief is number one, at least right now here in Portland. And at that point, at least they're the ones. So we're going to be choosing for our luncheons all the time. We got a giveaway coming up actually for. It's going to be it's a lucky giveaway for St. Patrick's Day in March. We'll be giving away a Pizza Thief gift card. Just something, it's a little fun. But another thing too, I'm interested to see is what the event lineup has coming down the pipe for Flow, and what's the consumer behavior going to look like here going into what could be and should be a relatively strong, busy season for construction related trades, and I guess exterior construction related trades here in the Northwest because it rains so much. And so if we take a look at these events, seeing the foot traffic, seeing the sentiment of the other professionals out in different various industries, to see whether or not people are remaining optimistic, was just generally been my outlook, especially over the last 6-7 years, just blind optimism that everything is going to be working out. And that's where we're at here, right here today. So I know a little special announcement, something stupid that we're going to try is this community guessing game on a upcoming project. We're going to see if for one, so we got a sign on it, but it's going to be a fun little trial is to see if you guys can guess the tear-off value of some of the scrap material that is associated with the project. To we'll do a $100 gift card for the closest guess. Just like back in the day, guess how many jelly beans are in the jar? I love that shit. So, yeah, I mean, here we are, beginning of the year, and we expect another record year, but you don't want to make assumptions in any game, right? And so chance always favors the prepared. And so we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure that we are able to provide value to everyone who has questions or believes that flow could be a valid option for them. But I would wonder what other business owners are thinking out there. It'd be cool to see if there was any resonance in the comments on concerns that you might be going through in what industry as well. This is not just about coffee beans. This is not just about lumber. And certainly, obviously, there's some foul play going, I think, behind the scenes. They're behind the puppet masters, right? We see the front facing, the marketing of the U.S., but there's a club of gentlemen, men and women behind closed doors that are making these decisions that are affecting everyone else here, all of us involved. So we're here to go with the flow, right? We're going to take one step at a time. We're going to ride this wave, but I'm worried for the home builders, the new construction folks, for the next couple of years. Are the investors and the banks going to back these businesses to continue the expansion? Their whole business model is based on building, right? And so, I mean, as long as the dollar is strong and property values and property turnover in sales, both residential and commercial, is still strong, I can't imagine that these builders are going to pipe down. But we're subscribed to some of the commercial platforms, and we get to see a lot of the new projects that are coming through. There's a lot of tenant build outs. We're seeing a lot of new construction as well. Still some low income stuff that's happening, but it's the big home builders that I'm wondering about. So anywho, like, that's 2 cents here for beginning of February. We've got some incredible plans coming for the next 45, 60 days. And a lot of that is top secret. I can't share with everyone. We've got some pretty sweet business development plans here. Never had the amount of help in the back end office to support the moves that we're making. And so we're trying to add value to as many people as we possibly can, best we can. So appreciate your time, consideration. Hope everyone's having a good 2025. Get ready to get some chocolates out to your clients here, wink, wink, in the next couple of weeks. And we might get a little bit of snow here floating down, but I don't think it's going to stick at the beginning of February. So see ya.